don't f***ing tip them on top when you're weighing in. Do you know what I mean? It does my head in.
It's too much in a net. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've ripped nets.
Bennett.
I think you need a bit of tolerance.
£1 on a £50 limit potentially cost you winning 50 grand.
Yeah, the year before I went over by 4 ounce. You lose everything. You're disqualified. Which, like, that is brutal. Stop with all his excuses. Just get on there and tell him stop complaining about the wind and the rain.
Let's talk about the first leg at Partridge, and then we'll move through them all. It's Waco's birthday today.
Hey!
Time for you to go. The views are going down. See ya.
Welcome, gang. Episode 3 already. Not only from different parts of the UK, but different parts of the world. Stephen Ringer, where are you? He's in his van.
I'd love to say I'm in sunny Belgium, but you might be able to hear the rain on the roof of the van. I'm in Belgium. I'm at the Mass Fishers venue, Gestenga. And anyone that wants to know a bit about it, go on the Tackle Guru YouTube. Myself, obviously yourself and Tank, we did a video here earlier this year. It's a massive expanse of water. It's been the first practice day today of the European Feeder Cup. It's been difficult. The weather's not been in our favour. Oh yeah, so I thought it had gone to kaput then, but he's just put a picture up. Obviously the weather's not been in our favour. It's been raining. The wind's absolutely freezing. Like 2 days ago, the weights were really good on the match, but today it's been really difficult. Maybe when the weather settles down, the fish get used to it a little bit more. The fishing's going to improve. I'm not 100% convinced. You know what I mean? That said, I've probably had 22 fish today, maybe 24, for 12 to 14 pounds. So it's not bad fishing. It's just a long while between bites and a lot of dead spells.
What were they, skimmers?
I've had 6 big skimmers, like between £1 and £2.4, and then like sort of 18 other fish for £3.
Right.
Maybe a little bit more. There's a lot less. Remember when we fished it, Matt? A lot of them like 2 to 6 ounce roach.
It's
There seems very few of them, and it felt like today the fish fed really well early, and then you just ran out of fish.
Right. And for people listening, Steve, tell them a little bit about this event, because it's something that's not on the FIPSED calendar, but it's kind of becoming the European Championship for feeder fishing, isn't it? Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, that's the idea of it. It's the European Feeder Cup, obviously the brainchild originally of a Barnsley friend of yours, Lee Kerry.
Let's not mention Lee.
Oh, best friend Lee.
But now, obviously, Walter and Lee run it together. So I thought someone was going to knock on the window then. Walter and Lee run it together. And obviously we're on the Mass Fishers, the massive venue at Gestenga. There's 12 teams fishing from 8 different countries. I reckon we've got Hungary, Romania, Lithuania, Sweden, obviously England, Belgium. Who have I missed? Hungary, Germany, who were last year's winners.
France?
And it's going to be... France aren't here. Who else is here? Said Romania. Trying to think. It's terrible if you miss one country out, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Hopefully they won't watch it. And obviously England Masters are here. So Darren Cox is here. Obviously Richie Hall, Broom.
Yeah, the old boys are there.
He's here as well. So basically it's 2 days training. We've had the first day today, another day's training tomorrow, and then 3 match days. So I quite like 3 match days. I think, you know, I mean, over 3 match days, I think it takes the luck of the draw out a little bit, which obviously contentious subject, the luck of the draw.
Yeah, definitely is. I think all international events should go that way. And I mean, I've had arguments. I know Mark Downs doesn't think the same, but I think all international events should be 3 match days now.
You might get at least 2 then, mightn't
exactly.
You? Yeah.
You go all that way travelling and you end up fishing 2 days, practicing for 5. Welcome, Bagger Bennett. How are you?
Who's let him in?
He's finally added me.
Is this a Ringer versus Bennett special?
If it is,
just said stop with all his excuses. Just get on there and tell him stop complaining about the wind and the rain. And I was only had 22.
Right, we'll start off. Let's talk about the first leg at Partridge, and then we'll move through them all.
Oh, this is great. Oh, brilliant. Welcome on board, Bennett.
We didn't know how long we were going to have Ring of Fire, folks, so we've drafted Bennett in as well for this latest show.
Always comes second.
Always the substitute, isn't he?
Yeah. Good substitute, that, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a good one.
When the star player's tired, they bring on the sub.
They used to have such bad beef.
I know, it's shocking.
Yeah,
Our Western Wham last week.
I think we should have a celebrity boxing match or something.
No, he beat me then.
What have you been up to, Bagger? What you been on weight last week or so?
Not much, mate. Not fished for 2.5 weeks since Tunnel and Whiteacres. Did like 3 weeks on the trot there.
It's a long time to have the ump in it about getting beat. Oh,
and he's gone. Cheers.
He's gone. We're back to
I'm back, am I? I've got a bit of a break.
Oh, he's got all funny on it.
Oh no.
Yeah, anyway, that's enough of him.
Back to the important stuff, Steve. Anyway, where were we? Remember that?
No, we'll bring him back when I'm done.
Yeah, good idea.
Is it bloodworming, Steve, or is it a non-bloodworm event, this particular one?
No, it's actually a non-bloodworm. As you know, probably, Matt, supply in Europe's quite tough at the minute. So there hasn't been a lot of supply. The only thing I'll say is we fished the world champs on this venue 3-4 years ago with bloodworm and joker, and it just wasn't, you didn't need it. I'll be honest, the fish didn't, they wanted to eat worms, casters, maggots. You didn't catch anything on bloodworm. I presume it's not a venue rich in bloodworm beds. So the fish didn't, if anything, you caught loads of like little tiny fish with bloodworm and you just got bitted out. You got the wrong fish in your swim.
Yeah. That seems to have been the case recently on quite a few places, that does.
Yeah, the best way I can describe this, like, it's probably as close to Irish type fishing as you can get in Europe, if you know what I mean. It's an Irish style venue.
Got ya.
Should suit you lot then, really, to be fair.
Should do, but it's Waco's coming now with some beers. It's
They go hand in hand, don't they?
It's quite I'll be honest, I think it's quite a peggy venue on the basis that the depth variation's huge. So you can sit next to someone, like I could be in like a 4 count on an 1.5 ounce bomb and they're in an 8 count.
Got ya.
So just one peg away, so which makes it peggy. So you could have someone, depth is important for the skimmers and bream. So you could have someone sat next to you. That's not a beer that just passed under that screen.
Hey!
Yeah, you could have someone sat next to you who basically catches a load of bream and skimmers, and you do nothing wrong, won't catch one because the depth's not right.
Got you. So obviously you're going to try and figure that out. You've got the whole of tomorrow still to do it before match day starts on Wednesday.
Yeah, but it's like we've already been, obviously the team is myself, Waco, Matt Stevens, Will Freeman, Lee Carey and Rob Wootton, and we've been in like 3, they're split, because there's 6 sections, we've had A, B and C today, 2 people in each, so you're practicing in pairs.
Oh,
nice.
But every section, because the 3 sections today are different, what you learn, like Lee and Rob have learned, for instance, doesn't relate to what myself and Adam have learned because of different depths.
Right.
Like we've been in really deep water, they've been in really shallow water.
Are you all right, Lee?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, definitely.
What's that?
I'm just checking he's all right with Lee being with someone else.
That.
Got the Lee band there. It's terrible. Like, look, this, folks, is what after last week's show. All I got is Lee Carey stick, so I had to send them this picture on the group just to tell them to. I were having a poo.
Oh, nice.
I were having a big poo.
I didn't know if Lee was round.
They were quite. No, they weren't round. What is Waco there? What's Waco?
Yeah, do you know what else? I'll turn you around to Waco. It's Waco's birthday today.
Oh,
Happy birthday!
Hey!
How old are you, gent?
I'm good. You?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. I've just had happy birthday sung to me by the entire competition. Everything's great.
Ah, brilliant. How old are you today?
What, truthfully or not?
Truth.
44 today.
Oh, flipping heck. That's old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I can't beat you at silverfish fishing.
True.
Because you're half my age.
Yeah. You could beat anyone at that game, you can.
Not at the moment. All I am at the moment, Matt, is the bridesmaid. Can't get over the line at the moment.
You've been to Meadowlands a couple of times, haven't you, mate? Last week.
I've been I've been twice, Drew. I won the pump bank and got beat on the deeps. And then I won the deeps and got beat on the pump bank. So I've been a bit. But to be fair, Matt, there's been obviously Darren Davis had a stupid weight. He had £51 on Wednesday on Fish South.
Yeah. Which
was probably nearly £40 a perch, all like 6, 8, 10 Oz. You know, can you remember obviously Bennett caught him all,
It was
didn't
only a
he?
minute ago. We kicked him off.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'd kick him off and all his crap. So basically, Darren Davis beat me that day, and then Cameron beat me Saturday on the pump bank. Just seems like all the skimmers are on the pump bank.
But you have already qualified for the silverfish first attempt at Barston, 60 odd pound. Took that.
Yeah,
one
it was a great.
out.
Yeah, no, you were obviously there. That match was, everybody thought it was down and dull and weren't sure because obviously Nigel obviously said he lost a few fish. Everybody didn't know, but he fished it well, didn't it?
Yeah, ridiculously well.
Unbelievable, that venue, isn't it?
Oh, it's mental place. It is mental.
But as I said to him, I think that when people get down about it, Mother Nature takes its course. And let's be right, we all know Barston. There's a phenomenal amount of fishing there, and there always has been. But I think sometimes you need to lose a few for it to come back strong, and I think that's basically what's happened there.
Yeah, it has. It has. Listen, while I've got you two and me and Roon are here, I'm going to ask one of the first questions that's from everyone who's talking online and asking online, and then we can get Waco's opinion on it as well. And it might relate to some of the stuff that we've just been talking about, especially the international event you're fishing at the minute. A guy called Simon Hayes has put, question or debate for future shows. What do you guys think about the use of mobile phones during individual events? In some events, the anglers are on the phone constantly to other competitors. Or
let me tell you, this is quite funny, this.
Let me finish it. He says sometimes logged into WhatsApp groups on a constant chat. Practice chat and homework before the all-in is fair enough. But is it right for some competitors to be receiving help and information during an individual competition? Anyone without this kind of network is effectively fishing against a team. A further point that is linked to the above is the sharing of prize money. Obviously, you can't stop people sharing prizes, but when you factor in a group all sharing money, they win spending the while match helping each other out. Is this a level playing field for everyone? In other sports, it would be constituted to match fixing. I thought it were a great topic to talk about because we're not allowed mobile phones in international matches, are we?
No. But let me tell you, even in normal matches, Matt, why would you why would you tell anybody else? I don't do.
I think, obviously, on it, can I get in?
Yeah, get in.
I think it's a bit of a myth, this information sharing. Like, if I'm fishing a match, I don't care if I'm not doing any good, I'm not telling anyone else how to win.
Of course you're not.
No, especially on that venue you're on there, where it's different each peg. You're not going to help.
I think,
mate.
Personally, I think people are always going to talk on the phone. Again, it goes back to what I said last week. If you're not policing the rules,
it don't stand.
Then it can't stand. So, but my attitude is, I don't believe all this massive information sharing goes on. You know what I mean? Like, particularly in individual matches where obviously you're fishing for money, I think most people are like, I'll tell you in the pub after.
Yeah, we'll tell you something.
I honestly think it's a myth, as in, like, I can't think, I answer phone calls, take it while I'm fishing a match, but like, I would never say, tell you what, you need to do this. You know what I mean? Because if I've worked that out, I'm keeping it for myself.
Well, sure, because at the end of the day, you want to win. If you think about when me and you I don't know, say we're at Ferry Meadows, for example, we might speak once during the day just to see what's happening. We won't sit there and liaise about because obviously a lot of the matches are qualifying matches, shall we say, and at the end of the day, you don't sort of cross that bridge.
There's an unwritten rule where you don't ask.
No, that's right.
You don't ask someone for information that you wouldn't want to give yourself. It's like if me and Waco are on the phone at Ferry, I might be catching on worms, but he wouldn't ask me and say, because you have to learn that yourself.
Yeah.
And if he did ask me, I wouldn't tell him anyway.
So
No, but you wouldn't because it's
a qualifier, and also there's a prize for winning the match. I want to win the match.
Matt said it tell Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, Matt totally. Lee, you.
Don't you start as well? I'm going to get some right shit out of this, I am.
Oh, that's so funny.
I hate you all. So basically, what we're saying is...
It's good to talk.
Yeah, Simon's probably got the old... A lot of people do speak on phone, maybe talk about what's going on, as in, you know, I've had 10 bream, there's a bloke up there with 11, but you're never really having in-depth chats about, look, I've just put some worms in and gone and...
No, they talk about... what they do, Matt, they talk about... what's the word?
They lie.
Yeah, well, a lot of them lie. They try and talk facts about what has been called, but tactically, it's obviously a no-go because, I don't know, for example, if it's a winning scenario, you're not gonna tell the truth.
No.
Or like Stevens, sorry, not going to tell the truth. It's an unwritten rule about you just don't cross that line because it's an individual match, shall we say?
Yeah, isn't it?
Maybe it's different in a team match because obviously...
Yeah, we have WhatsApp groups, don't we?
Yeah, but team match is different. I'd expect most teams to have WhatsApp groups. And then obviously you are going to share information in a team match because you're in a team, you want to win.
We do,
but that's different.
You can't always take a runner with you.
No. We're on phone all the time there.
Yeah, you know.
So I think people read too much into it into individual matches, and I don't want to criticise. I'm going to anyway, but they use it as an excuse.
Yeah.
As basically maybe, but when in reality, I don't know anyone like that would genuinely share information to help someone win in a match they were in themselves. They might someone might ring up someone at home and say, "Tell you what, mate, I'm really struggling. What would you feed down the edge?" But that's life, isn't it?
Yeah, that's obviously pre-advised, which I get quite a lot, namely from Tank. Oh, Waco, I'm going to the glue. What shall I do? Well, I told him and he won. So that's a fact. And not only that, did he destroy me?
At least you were filming a live match as well.
Were you next to him?
Hey,
don't talk about live matches.
We've got a new subject. Should live matches be allowed?
This is the next topic for you next week.
Does that deserve a separate topic altogether?
Yeah, I think you need to catch me on a good day to talk about that, Matt. I think.
Okay.
But of course, obviously, it's a massive part. Gathering information before you go to a venue is fair dues, isn't it? Obviously, you do it. Obviously, that week, what I'm talking about, you know, everybody phones everybody. I speak to him all the time. I speak to you all the time. I speak to Des all the time. You need to find out current information. Current information is really good. Finding out species getting caught, and then you make your own decisions. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, I also think in any other sport, like this chap's mentioned as well, like with it maybe being classed as match fixing, but in any other sport as well, you would do research on where you're going. You would communicate with anyone you possibly could at all times to try and channel the information to stack the odds in your favour as much as possible. So it could also be seen as high-level sport, gathering as much information as you can to try and help you win. And it's match fishing at the end of the day, and we want to win. And mobile phones and communication, they're a part of the modern world. So why not make the most of it and include it as the other side of the argument, I'd say.
It's a good question, isn't it, really?
I think if you don't do it, Matt, I think you touched on it on the last. Did you touch on it in the last one about getting information off the internet and all that stuff? I think you did, didn't you?
Yeah, too much information, yeah.
So obviously you spoke about that last time, and it's no different on the phone, but what I think is on the phone when you're talking to friends, peers, or should we say venue experts, you're getting current information. So at the end of the day, why wouldn't you?
Got to, ain't you?
That's my opinion. That's my opinion. If I'm going to, I don't know. If I'm going to, so when we started fishing Orcroft, straight away I phoned you. Give some outlines. I know you guided me for this year, but I'm not going to turn around and ask you exactly what to do because you don't cross that bridge. But what you did give me was the basics for me to work on and to me to make my own assumptions on the fishing.
Yeah. So he didn't tell you about the mole-ill and the single pinky yet, then?
Adam, I'll tell you. Adam, I'll tell you what. I've told him too much and got back. Oh, he's just same as his mate.
Yeah. Don't tar me with that. Look, you guys obviously need to get off.
Yeah, go and enjoy your birthday. Steve's getting the beers in, I've heard.
Oh, listen, if you were sat here now in this van looking at this, you'd be as depressed as anything. It's a good thing. Honestly.
We've got Bagger in the pipeline just here, look. So.
Is it Matt?
Yeah.
Has Bagger found his bait from Whiteacres yet?
There we go. Time for you to go. The views are going down. See ya.
Good luck, boys. See you later.
Have a good birthday. Cheers, boys.
Right later.
Bye.
We're 12 hours later on, folks, from where we were. He doesn't always go to plan on the way in, but we've got Bagger, we've got Rune. Ringer's busy flinging a feeder in Denmark or wherever the hell he is.
Austria.
Yeah. So let's pick it up from where we left because we ain't got loads of time. Bagger, you have been on a little mad mission. 2 or 3 weeks of absolute fishing hell. And you said that you were feeling a bit burnt out, fished out, in a bit of a crash from it. Tell us about that, brother. That's not like you.
Yeah, probably more like 3 or 4 months of fishing mission, to be fair. Like, summer's just mad busy. So for me, it's like you fish all them big events. You know yourself what it's like when you finish the Worlds. Well, for me, like I'm chasing all qualifiers, festivals. Once it all sort of finishes, and Whiteacres is normally the end of it, followed up by 3-day festival at Tunnel Barn. I just sort of like, there's not much else to fish for now coming up. So I'm just having a little break, 2 or 3 weeks off. I'm back out Thursday filming for Paul, doing one of his live matches. So I might get the bug back and want to go again. But the weather just turned now and it's rubbish, innit? So I'm not loving the weather. But yeah, I think I'll turn my attentions to silverfish over the winter. But there ain't much going on, Matt, to be honest. Like, we normally have a Bradshaw's Winter League, which is not taking part this year. So
why not? Why is that not happening? Because that were magnificent fishing and a brilliant league.
Yeah, I don't
think
know.
no one could beat Rimmer, could they? No one could beat Rimmer.
Beating everyone. And, I think they've got a lot of work to do on the fishery this winter, and he just wants to get that done. Obviously, it takes up a lot of time and stuff. I don't know, to be honest, because I don't really go to Bradshaw's in the summer.
Yeah, I suppose you can't really do the maintenance and that through the summer months because they're your bread and butter months, aren't they? So if anything has to give, it probably is those winter months, which I'm sure he doesn't want to give up. But things have to be done, don't they?
Yeah,
like you really giving up over winter, Bennett. Sounds like to me you're moaning and a bit down in the dumps about it. Really,
no.
You've got
I like big events to fish. I can't get myself up. I fished for 20 years.
You said you like big events. You said you like big events, but you haven't really won many this year, are you?
I did win the Guru Festival. Carried the torch for the team and all that.
Oh, I nearly got a bite, didn't I? No,
yeah, nearly.
Yeah. That rest is good.
You mentioned to me, Bagger, obviously off the back of a mad little spell, the fact that you feel like festival fishing has gone a little bit one way in terms of smaller sections. You're fishing against 5 or 6 people every week. And I know that off camera you said, look, I'm a bit pissed off with it, to be honest. Like, I want to be fishing against more people. So people who actually win these things have got to beat more people, make things a little bit harder to win is sort of the angle you were coming from. Is that something that we can have 5 minutes on? Because I think it's an interesting topic, and it sort of ties in with what myself, Rune and Ringer spoke about on the last one as well.
Yeah, exactly that. People are saying, like, how can you make fishing fairer? How can you do this? How can you do that? What people want nowadays is they want to win the big prize. So people want to win that big prize. I had this sort of conversation about feeder masters. When Ringer won, people were saying, like, Tamar's not a great venue. If you're behind on day one, you can't catch up, etc. And I'm like, hold on a minute. You've got Des Ship, Steve Ringer, Andy Powers, 3 of the best anglers in the country, all within 12 ounces of each other. For me, that is a perfect final. There's loads of people within £10. You've got to do a bit of roaching and a bit of skimmer fishing. I look at that and I just think that's amazing. But then you've got people that obviously want to fish, like, they want to go back to, say, Bower Beach, where you could draw on a shoal of bream one day, catch £50. A little bit like what I've seen with the Riverfest final, I think it was, where 70, £80 of barbel won it day one, if I'm correct. I can't remember off the top of my head. Because I didn't take notice the second day. I just thought, well, that's done and dusted. That's, they're going in the bag to draw one peg the day after. And fishing shouldn't be like that. You should be made to win the event. You should be consistency should be rewarded. So I feel like them type of events, your top anglers should be able to shine through. And some people might not like me saying that, but that's what it's about for me. Sport, is all about having superstars who win. And this is why things like darts take off, because you've got Luke Littler now carrying the darts. Do you even follow darts, Matt?
No.
But you'll know who Luke Littler is, surely.
Yeah, he's a cricket player, isn't he?
But, like, you don't follow darts, but on a serious note, you know who Luke Littler is.
I know who Luke Littler is. I know who, but I know we went fishing with Barry Earn last week. I see darts a lot. I hear it just in the fishing fraternity.
So if
I've noticed more people are talking about it just in fishing around me, and I ain't got a tube of glue what's going on.
I knew you wouldn't follow it. So if I said to you, who's the world #1 in darts, who would you say? Would you know?
I'd say either Luke Littler or the bald guy.
Van Gerwen.
Van Gerwen, yeah.
Yeah, because they're sort of like superstar darts players. To promote a sport, you need superstars to push it on so people can aspire to be like them. Luke Humphries is actually the world #1. You've probably never heard of him because you don't follow darts, but you'll know who Luke Littler is. He might not be now, but he has been for the past 12 months or whatever. Yeah. He's been mega consistent. He's got all these points acquired and all the rest of it. But they use Luke Littler as the superstar to push darts because he's the world champion, and you need anglers like your Steve Ringers, your Jamie Hugheses, even young anglers like Brad Lucas now, where he's won Fishermania at 19. People can look at that and aspire to be like that. When it's a lottery and you've got all these different types of winners, it's good if they win. It's nice to see an underdog win, do you know what I mean? But I feel like you need superstar anglers to come to the fore, and fishing's already unfair. When you talk about handicapping people, the draw does that. You spoke about it on your last one. The draw already gives you a handicap, so you want to try and make it as fair as possible. And I thought Tamar was as fair as you could probably get. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's loads of fish to be caught. If you're good at roaching, you could catch 300 or 400, 500 roach. If you're not so good, you'll get found out. And then, you're just not quite good enough. So therefore, in my opinion, you don't deserve to win that title because you're not got up to speed with what you need to be. You can't just be a one-trick pony and just be good at skimmer fishing. You have to do a bit of roaching if you draw bad, for example, when you go to Tamar. And everybody wants to win that big prize pot. And I just think for fishing to go forward, we probably just need to rein in and understand, like, I'm not quite good enough at that. Maybe having divisions is the way to go, where, the top anglers fish against each other. You can get promoted, relegated, etc. You fish at your own level. This is why we have club level, we have open level, then you have higher profile matches. And it's not trying to separate everybody, because you can still book on to whatever you want. If you want to pay your money, take your chance and draw next to, a Steve Ringer or Jamie Hughes on the same festival as them, you'll love that experience. But realistically, you don't want to start making it unfair to the point where, you're giving it's not about giving everyone a chance. Everybody has a chance. Of course they do. If they're good enough, they draw the peg, they can easily win. But fishing, everyone just seems to want it to be like unfair nowadays. And, you know, how can the average angler win it, for example? He goes fishing 5 days a week. You know what I mean? There's this big misconception that I go fishing 5 days a week. Steve Ringer goes fishing 5 days a week. Probably fish less than 500 people in the country. Do you know what I mean? There's probably 500 people who go fishing more than I do. I don't even fish open matches very rarely anymore. I only really fish the events, but that's what people see you on. They think you're out on the bank every single day fishing a match, which is not the case. Do you know what I mean?
You mentioned to me about this section sizes sort of thing, Bagger, off the back of going to Whiteacres, going to Tunnel Barn, fishing a few big events this summer in the festival scene. Yeah. What you're getting at with that about, you know, fishing against few people every day. So you're not, are you saying that you've not got the opportunity to draw against as many of the good guys or girls? So you've got less chance of beating them because you're not actually fishing against them?
Yeah, exactly that. You could fish an 120 peg festival, and in theory, you've only got to beat 15 anglers over 3 days or whatever it may be. 5 anglers a day you might have to beat. You know, Whiteacres, for example, we went down on the Preston and someone said to me, "Oh, you didn't have a great week, did you?" And in the end, I won 5 of the 10 matches. I had a 3rd and a 4th. Come the Super Pool, 8 out of 10 days. But I had 2 bad days, and them 2 bad days, I can't catch up. So it's nothing to do with just that. Because if it was a big section, I still would have done rubbish because I had a last and a next to last the first 2 days. But when you're fishing them festivals, what you can get a lot of sometimes is you get drawn in with the good anglers. So, for example, I had probably the 2 most consistent anglers down there, Andy Powers, Craig Edmonds. And we managed to beat each other once each day. So I beat Craig once, he beat me. Same with Powers. So you're taking points off each other. And when you're only in these little small 6-peg sections, basically that is your festival done. You're not winning then. Do you know what I mean? If you get a couple of points took off you, where if it's bigger sections, it gives you a chance to catch up. But also, like, the other anglers who might avoid some of the better anglers, they're sort of getting an easier ride. Whereas I feel like you should be made to win the events. And sometimes these small sections, you get people where you get an easy run. And like, you know, in the Guru Festival, for example, I was drawing pegs and thinking, well, that's the best peg in the section, or that's second best peg in the section. So straight away, I had sort of an easy run on the Guru. This time on the Maver, I ended up drawing, because it's a 6-peg section, I was on a split section. So I was in with the front twin oaks and I was on the back. I ended up beating everyone, like doubled everyone's weight on the back, done really well. But I got beat off the front because the sections are split to accommodate these smaller sections. Whereas if it was just a full lake, I'd have won my lake that day. That ended up costing me the festival. I got beat by like £2. And that was like, well, you know, I've done my job, really. I beat everyone on my lake, but because it's a split section. Yeah, I'm in with a... And to be fair, they was 8-peg sections. It was like a 4 and a 4 on each lake, whereas you could have just gone a straight 12. And instead of having 6s, you can have 6 for money, spread the money about, but points-wise, I feel like they should be bigger. You know, the old days, we used to have 9-peg sections down at Whiteacres. We used to have 9s and 10s down at Tunnel on the Masters in the early days. You know, I remember drawing sections with like Paul Holland, Des Ship, Andy Power, all in my section. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's for. Like, you're fishing against the best anglers all the time, then you can't avoid them. And it makes it hard work to win, but you don't always have to win your section. You know, day one of the Pole Masters, there's like 22 section winners. And it's like, well, if you haven't won your section first day, you can't probably win the festival. So they've eliminated 100 anglers straight away because you've got 22 people sat on a section win. You know, over the 3 days, someone's going to end up getting 3 wins. So
I think, I think as an angler as well, I think that there's a lot of skill lost in the fact that you have to win. You have to fish in a way to win. Whereas when you're talking about a 10 or a 12-peg section and you go, flipping heck, Bagger's going to be hard to beat there. Des is going to be almost impossible to beat there. But if I come 3rd today on the first day and get me chance at a 2nd and a win the next 2, I could win. I could sneak in. Like, it gives you a lot more versatility, and I think you have to apply a lot more skill, and it's a little bit more of a team angling mentality that you're going down to try and get the best from your peg. So many pegs now are completely spaffed because people are just blasting baiting to try and win off a peg that's not possible, and it's gone, and the day's gone. They don't enjoy it. You don't learn a lot as an angler. Like, for me, it's a terrible mindset of fishing. I'm probably a little bit biased because I've grown up in team fishing where it's about getting the best from what you've got in front of you. But the smaller sections and fishing against less people that lead towards this got to win today make me in particular in certain situations fishing away I don't really want to fish, or I'm sort of pushing it so much that if it doesn't go, it's just blown to pieces and you're gone.
Yeah, there's no such thing now as a good second or a good third. You need them wins, and it's like you might have section pegs where you just can't beat it. There's certain pegs, for example, down at Whiteacres where they were dominating. The end pegs were dominating, so you didn't want to be in that section because you thought, well, I can't beat that. Do you know what I mean? Like the standard's so good, pretty much anyone would win off that peg, for example. So it was almost like a gimme section peg. So if you drew him with that straight away, it's like there's no such thing as a good second anymore. I remember last year, I nearly didn't qualify for the final. I had 4 seconds going into the last day, and I think I'd picked up Super Pool money every day. So I've been second, third, fourth in the match every day, 4 days on the trot. Couldn't be any more consistent. And the last day, if I didn't win my section, I wouldn't have qualified. So even with 5 seconds, it wouldn't have been enough. And I don't think it'd have been enough this year either. And that's what you tend to get on these, is like, you have to get the wins, but there's too many sections. There's no such thing as like good second, good thirds.
Look, to wrap it up, Rune, obviously I'd like to hear your thoughts, because from a brand point of view as well, and from a fishing company point of view and angling as a whole, what do you see as the advantages and disadvantages to how match fishing is in terms of what we've just been speaking about? Is there an advantage from a trade point of view to the anyone can win, the Riverfest format? Is it a good thing for an event that there's a peg in the bag that anyone could draw and they're going to win 14 grand on Riverfest? Is that good? Is that bad? What's your take on it?
Well, I suppose there's pros and cons to everything, isn't it? But the way the match fishing scene is set up, it's not professional like darts or anything like that. It's every man for himself, isn't it? There isn't levels, there isn't things. And I think having it like that allows people their dreams and hopes, and they fish at sort of maybe club level a little bit better, but they draw a few pegs, they're going to win some big things, which is fantastic in my eyes. And there's no other sport you can sit next to a world champion and beat him, really, is there? So from that angle, it's probably a nice leveler. But if you want to move match fishing on and you want to do it like darts and it to become more of a professional sport and to have levels, then these things need to be inputted. There needs to be leagues. There needs to be events where those people aren't on them. There's different levels, or there's that event, say Whiteacres, a festival at Whiteacres, one for the elite and one for the club. And that's how you need to do it. And you, like Andy says, you need big sections. And I always think, like we touched on it yesterday. 1 day or a 2 day final with having to draw a peg can be unfair, can't it? But you add another day in, so it's 3 days like you do at Walterland and different events. It's a bit more of a leveler. But the organisers and stuff have to get those people attracted to the event. And would you making it so the best people are going to win, would you get the people on the event? Probably not. But everyone travels down to Whiteacres because there's a chance and an opportunity for them. So for me, that's a really nice thing. But if you want the sport to be professional and take it to another level, which is Andy's frustration, because obviously he thinks he's the best out there, so he wants to be in these elite competitions, that there needs to be a divide. But that's when the whole sport probably needs some investment and some, sponsorship from outside the fishing brands, because that's what it needs to become more professional. But yeah, I think it's great as it is, and it's amazing how many competitions there are now. But to be fair, you know, I keep an eye on what's going on like anyone, but I only keep an eye on the big ones. There's a festival every bloody week now, you know, and, you know, there's some fantastic anglers winning a lot of them. But like you say, there's so many people in the fold now. Are they the elite, or are they just going more and having more chances? You know, it's tricky, but yeah, take it for what it is.
I'm not on about every single festival.
No, I know.
It's nice to have a mixture. I think we've got a great balance. Anybody can book on White Acres. They can go and draw about.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you know, the top events where there's big money up for grabs, especially something like Feeder Masters, Fishermania, you can't really. But if you're having a 2-day final, something like Feeder Masters is a perfect example. For me, you should be made to win that. You know, when you're trying to get into the Part D Masters, for example, where there's 15 grand to be won at the end of it, you've paid loads of money to go and enter, you've qualified throughout the year, something like that. Again, like, you should be made to get into that final. It shouldn't be an easy ride. Something like Fishermania, you've got to beat 120 people to qualify. So that's not an easy ride. Anybody could do it. There's no way of changing that. But, you know, I just think too many people, what you tend to get a lot of is people, you know, I want to win that Fishermania, or I want to win this Feeder Masters, or whatever. But they want to try and make it a lottery where you go, you know, you spend all year trying to qualify for Feeder Masters and you go to a venue where it could be won with just bream. And for me, that's not going to push the sport forward. Like I say, you need superstars within angling, so that if someone like Barry Hearn comes along, he goes, right, who can I use for my promotion? You can use Dave from down the road. Like, that's not going to push the sport forward. Whereas if you've got a young Brad Lucas, 19-year-old Fishermania champion, has already won 50 grand. He's winning everything he fishes, for example, etc. You know, I can use this kid to promote it, and other juniors will be like, well, it's achievable. You know, he's done it at 19-year-old. I don't have to fish for 40 years to get to this level. 5 or 6 years' time, I could be the next Brad Lucas or the next Jamie Hughes. Do you know what I mean? And that's how you're going to push it. Like, you need someone to push it and promote it.
Look, I think that we've covered a lot there. And the final thing that I'd say is it'd be interesting to hear what everyone listening thinks of this. Do you want fishing to be a little bit of a lottery? Does it appeal to you going on a match where you can draw a peg and win on a whim because there's some big fish there, like the Riverfest final maybe has been quite a few years now? Or do you think that fishing should be elitist and you should be rewarded for consistency and good results fishing against the best people? Let us know, which way would you rather see fishing go, folks? Because it'd be interesting to hear, and we've had that many comments on the last few shows. We can get a good reading of what everyone else is thinking, and I think that people will find it interesting actually reading through the comments about this particular topic. And speaking of comments, I'm going to move it on and throw a viewer's question at you both. This one's related to a little bit what we said last week. We talked about net limits and commercial fishery rules and stuff like that. And it also angles on the elitist / lesser angler thoughts and feelings. It's about bait limits. It's from Paul Slatcher. Great name, 6836. Make sure you send us an email, Paul. info@tackleguru.co.uk, and you can get your free beanie. What's your boys' views on bait limits on commercials, especially maggots and casters? I find it beyond belief when an angler turns up with 8 pints of casters for an open match. Surely the price they pay for the bait, fuel, etc. outweighs the winner's payout in an open match. I get it for big events and festivals, but just for an open match, it's ridiculous. This also hampers the average anglers competing. For example, F1 fishing, they might turn up with 3 pints. Just thought this would be a good topic, as I hear a lot of anglers on the bank and at the draws talking about it. Great videos, lads. Keep them coming. What do you think, boys? What do you think to bait limits? Is it a bad thing? Because, Bagger, you must see people turning up with a lot of bait to a lot of the matches you fish.
Yeah, and again, people think, well, it's all right for Andy Bennett, he's a sponsored angler. No, it's not, because I've still got to pay for my bait. My maggots and casters I still have to pay for. So if I'm going on a festival, and to be fair, this is what cost me at White Acres, me trying to save a little bit of money, I'm going, right, I've got 20 pints of casters ordered, so there's 84 quid straight away, £4.10p a pint. And then I've got a gallon of maggots come in. Well, so I've spent 110 quid straight away on bait. I needed to order more maggots, and I didn't because I'd caught on casters the week before. So I was sort of like, I'm not ordering maggots and throwing away another 60 quid's worth of bait. Do you know what I mean? So even I'm trying to scrimp and scrape sometimes. And it's a tough one because if you go somewhere and you haven't got the bait, if I'm spending 70 quid to fish a match, let's say I was going to go partridge tomorrow, partridge in the summer, and I think, right, it's an 8-pint limit. I'm going to want a few micros and a bit of ground bait, and then I'm going to need 5, 6, 7 pints of maggots. If I take 3 or 4, I can't do what I want to do properly, so then I might as well just not bother doing it. So I'm going to buy the extra few pints of maggots to make sure that I can do it properly. So the difference is you spend 20 quid and half-heartedly do it, or you spend the extra 15 quid, take a full gallon to wherever you're going, and you've got what you need for the day. So for me, it's like, it's already costing me 50 to 60 quid to fish. I might as well spend 70. It's not about winning the money. It's a day out to me. Do you know what I mean? If I can win something and get some money back, great. But I don't go fishing open matches to try and win money. So, you might as well, it's like going out for a meal and going, oh, I'm not going to have a starter because it's an extra tenner. Like, it's an experience. You might as well go full lot, aren't you?
Yeah, I understand. What do you think, Rune? What are your thoughts on it? Because obviously you speak to a lot of anglers and see a lot of the fishing fraternity, right from kids and beginners in match fishing up to high level. What are your thoughts on that question from Paul?
I think it's a really good question, and again, it all goes hand in hand, doesn't it? It's that, do you go down the elitist route or do you go down the every man can compete route? And I think bait limits are really important. I think some of them they go a bit too deep, but I think you should have it at a manageable level that's acceptable for everyone, depending on the venue. So, and I think Whiteacres do it very well, and other venues do as well. But, it's still down to that individual. Even if it's a 4-point bait limit, some people are going to go and not going to have that. But they're deciding to enter that competition. They know the rules. They take the gamble. But yeah, I think bait limits are a sensible thing. One, for the welfare of the venue. Shoveling tons of meat in somewhere with no limits. We've seen what damage that can do, and other baits. So yeah, I think just be sensible. Have some decent limits and have them there for the right reasons. So people can still compete, and it's not going to break the bank. I think that's how it should be, really. Nothing more than that. You could go on forever, couldn't you, with it?
Yeah, you could. It's just about being sensible, but
I think so. I think protecting the place you're fishing is the most important thing, isn't it? So, and I think Whiteacres have a good mix of it, what you can use there, and it's achievable for most people. If you're, like Andy said, he has to seriously think about how much he's going to spend and what he's going to input into that festival compared to the reward. But you're going for it for a week away. You're having that starter, ain't you, Bennett? You've got to have it.
Yeah.
You're in. You're going to compete. And if you're on an open, I think that's down to your choice. If you're using it as a practice session, but there's boundaries. I think you do need boundaries, but sensible ones.
I agree.
It's all right. It's the biggest thing is if you're going to have bait limits, you've got to police them. Because if there's a bait limit, I'm not going to turn up to the fishery and have the risk of getting caught not using fishery pellets or, not having too much bait. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, Andy Bennett's been caught cheating, when the guy around the corner is then not bothered because, he's not on social media. He's not going to get a hammering for it. If you're going to have bait limits, you have to. So Whiteacres, in my opinion, have got it absolutely spot on. Do you know what I mean? They go around, they do the checks. You feel like you're fishing on a fair playing field. But if I turn up with 4 pints of maggots and the guy next to me has got a gallon, then that's not fair. Do you know what I mean? So, like, if you're going to have bait limits, the fishery need to be going around policing it, and then that's great. Whiteacres got it spot on. Morelands, they've got it spot on. Do you know what I mean? Like, Grant will make sure that you go around, everybody's got the right bait. You feel like when you go places like that, you're on a level playing field, and then it is fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's come out the last 2 weeks is the fact that if you're going to put rules in place, it's the enforcement of them that gives it the oomph and the edge, and that's got to happen. That does not happen enough in match fishing, does it? It certainly doesn't, in my opinion, matches that I go on. In the UK, I couldn't tell you last time I got checked for something like bait limits or barbed ducks, or, you know, how many people going on silverfish matches using barbed ducks? I wouldn't have a clue. I'd like to think not, but can't remember last time I was checked in winter at all. And same with bait limits, very few venues. And I know that last week we spoke about, obviously, Brenda getting disqualified at Tunnel, but
massive cheat.
Yes, it's a rule, agree with it or not, but it's been enforced, it's been applied, and that's fantastic. People actually enforcing them, and I don't think it happens enough. And so I wanted to ask you both. Obviously, quite a lot of the comments last week were about a banter full towards Brenda, 34 pound in a net, got disqualified. What are your boys' thoughts on net limits? You start with you, Rune. What's a sensible net limit on a commercial? What should it be? What should the rule be? In your opinion, you go fishing enough, you speak to enough anglers to have a good thought and opinion on this, and you also have to manufacture nets from a fish safety point of view. What's a sensible net limit? If you had
I think £2 a keep net, so everyone buys loads of keep nets. That's what I think. No, on a serious note, I like the way they do it with the scales, for example. So if it's, again, we mentioned Whiteacres, but they get it so right every time. You've got £60 scales, have your net limit at £60. So, you know, that the nets today will look after and care for £60 a fish, no problem at all. I feel like nets, even we're designing nets that are getting smaller and smaller because people have to have so many in front of them. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I just think you need to be sensible. If you're fishing a venue where you catch £300, have £60 a net. So 1, you can lift it out safely. 2, you're not cramming them in the net. And 3, it's easy to work out with the scales. But, you know, having all this, like, where you can only put blue fish in that net, green ones in this one, and you can't put blue ones with green ones in this one, it's just a load of shit, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you don't want your silvers mixed with your carp, don't fucking tip them on top when you're weighing in. Do you know what I mean? It does my head in. They get their silvers out and go, ooh, yeah, I had a few of them. And then, but I've got some carp in here. I should be disqualified.
You mix them all together.
You should be disqualified for that. Weigh your carp in. Carp and F1s, you know, pretty much hardy fish, over £2, weigh them all in together, have a net for your silvers, just be sensible. Don't have 400 keep nets in front of you. You all look a load of twats. Just keep it dead simple and just be, you know, be normal. Everything goes to the extreme and crazy. I know people got to protect their fish, and I get that, but if you keep the limits at a sensible level, you're not going to do much damage. And it's one way in because you've got £60 scales, pop them on the scales, put them in, put them back, job done, innit? So no messing around. I'll just weight these because I'm going to tip my silvers on top. So it defeats the object for me. Brain dead. But we all do it. So, but yeah.
What do you think, Bagger? What's your thoughts on net limits?
I think £60 a good limit. £60, £65. Partridge have it good where it's just 3 nets, split your fish. £66. So if you have 1 net in, it goes to what the scales do, £66. If you have 2 nets in, both of them go to the scales, £66, for example. But if you have 3, you can pretty much have whatever you want in. But it's not a big weight venue where you're going to get £300. So if you're catching £300, I think £65 is a good limit. Because when you start getting to £70, £80, £90, it's too much in a net. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've ripped nets. I remember going to Lindholme. 3 nets split your fish was the rule. So I took 3 nets, never expected to catch £300. I had £290 one day. I had £90 in 2 nets, and I ripped them both, pulling them out of the water as they caught on a nail. So you're damaging nets as well. So that's way too many fish, £90. Do you know what I mean? But I didn't have another net with me. I just thought 3 nets split your fish. We're catching £150, £60, £80 per net. But it fished its head off, and, you know, I got caught out that day and ended up ruining 2 of my nets. So I think £60 a good limit, £65. But I think you should have a little bit of tolerance as well. You know, I got disqualified for qualifying for a final this year by £1. I went to Hayfield, you know, and I agree with the rule. Like Nolly says up there, if I go to 55, people will go to 55 and they end up taking the piss, going higher and higher every time. But I think you need tolerance for mistakes. Like that day, people are asking me, what have you got? You know, they start talking to you and you're like, I've got about 170, put that fishing net. Did I count that fish? Have I got 22 or 23? What have I got in that net now? Is that 30? And when you're catching big fish, Like, I'd been there 6 out of 8 days that week. My nets have been within a pound every single day. I've been bang on with it. I'm good with my nets, but I keep counting my head. When people start talking to me, you can lose track. That's ultimately cost me qualifying for a final. Do you know what I mean? So I'd gone over by £1 because you're catching £7 to £10 fish. I clearly just miscounted a fish. All my other nets were bang on, £35 to £40, you know, and this one's gone 51 out of the blue, and I'm like, so I think you need a bit of tolerance.
£1 on a £50 limit potentially cost you winning 50 grand because you could have qualified for the final and won it.
Yeah.
Well, Matty Dawes, there's a funny story to that. Matty Dawes got in the semi-final because he was 4th and he ended up coming 3rd. And he was last to draw in the semi. He ended up going on to win it. He actually said to me, I wouldn't have even been in that final if you didn't get disqualified, because I wouldn't have qualified for the semi. And then he qualified through the semi. So, yeah, it all come out like a bit weird. Yeah. Maybe my name was on the, you know, writing was on the wall, but I got disqualified.
It's that same old thing, though. Ayfield, a lot of people might not agree with a £50 net limit, and you go an ounce over, and that is it. The whole net's gone. Yeah,
no, everything's gone. You're disqualified.
So if you go an ounce over £50, you are disqualified.
The year before, I come second in the match. I was only £4 off winning, so I could have potentially won if I'd had one more fish. I went over by 4 ounce. Like, that is brutal. You don't just lose your net, you lose you lose everything. You're disqualified, which, you know, I'm happy with that, but there should be a tolerance of £5. You know, just
10%.
But then so it should be £50. If you weigh 52, you don't get disqualified, but you know,
you
weigh £50 limit.
Yeah,
that stops people going over. But there's no tolerance whatsoever, so it's really strict. If you start heighting it, people just keep going higher and higher. So I think about £60 is a sensible limit.
Basically, that £50 limit, they're the rules. You have to abide by them, but you've got to play the game really safe, haven't you? So you're really only going to be putting £42 in your net.
35.
Yeah, we don't weigh fish. We're not professional weighers of fish. There should be a tolerance, I feel, and a sensible one. So if you weigh in, the scales are £50, you weigh in 52, you get 50, end of. You've got £80 in your £50 net, disqualify you because you're dumbass. But, you know, just be sensible, innit? But by really strict rules, it makes it very difficult, doesn't it? So
fair play for enforcing them again. Now.
Absolutely.
I think that's a common theme that's coming through. The other thing that I'd say about it from a bit of experience doing it is, you know, when I have a shitload of nets in front of me, I think it's worse for the fish than when you've got 3 or 4 pushed out, all in the water, nicely spread. Soon as you start to have 5, 6 nets and you've got one that's full, you pull it to one side, it's flattened down, the others are on top of it. Surely that's worse for the fish. Like, it's all dragged into I see people with them dragged on the banks, and I actually think over sort of more than about 4 nets, and you start to see them being pushed to one side, and it's maybe even worse for the fish in them. I dare say it's an argument for, just to sort of finish that topic off.
Ridiculous.
But, look, we could talk about rules on that forever, and I think we've touched on a great couple there. But this is going to be one of the longest ones yet if we're not careful. So to move on, wrap it up, I've got another nice question. This one's aimed a little bit more at you, Rune, and talking about nets, fishing tackle products, that sort of thing. I think it's a nice one, and it might lead into something else. From Stephen Armstrong, 6620. Fantastic chats, gents. How does Mr. Rooney decide who gets involved in product development, and what is the best product that never made it to the market? Once again, great podcast, gents. Roon, this is a great chance for you to enhance the product development team, mate. I know that you're always looking for good people. Who gets involved with product development? Are you constantly looking for new people? And what's the best thing that never made it?
Well, our product development team is very small, but we've got a big group of anglers which are all, selected for their strengths and weaknesses. So if we're doing a product regarding, I don't know, something like F1 fishing, we'd probably speak to Bennett. Do you know what I mean? But if I'm looking at a product that's more feeder orientated, pick up the phone to Ringer. Do you know what I mean? That's how we play it at the moment. I use my boys because I don't go as much as I used to. So I used to sort of like be really on the ball and innovative with products. And now I more rely on my team and the people that are out there doing it and the market the way it is. So you have to use the people that are living and breathing it to, you know, to find where you're going next with something. But yeah, people come in, send me an email off, you know, just normal people as well. And we'll always look at people's ideas. People don't understand that certain things, like people will come to me with like, for example, a clicker that's got 4 clickers on it rather than 3 and go, oh, this is a great idea. You should bring this out. It's got 4 on it. People use 4 keep nets now, you know, but that isn't really a revolutionary product. It's a cool idea if you use 4 keep nets where you go, but you know, it's getting to understand where you're going with product development and, you know, where our journey's taking us. So, but I really utilize our boys a lot, and we've got some great people back here that can do all the boring bits, the design, you know, making it actually so it can be marketable, and do it from that way really. But yeah, that's how we've always rolled. But we've got the best, well, I'm going to say it, we've got the best team in the world for all different angles, all different genres of fishing, you know, from sort of like club level with Griff and Brandon, even though Brandon's getting cheated. And then I've got the elite in the UK. I've got Bennett, you know, I've got all those guys are so good. And then I've got you boys that do the European and the world stuff. We've got the best of both worlds. So I'm going to use those people. I'm not daft. The biggest thing in the company is the people behind it. And that's the way you go. And products just develop as you're going along. We're still quite a young brand, really. And, you know, there's things we haven't done yet and we're getting to it. But my philosophy is, and the company's philosophy is, we don't just make something off the shelf. That is not what we do. It's called core development for a reason. So if we have an idea or something we want to do, then yes, we'll take the idea. We don't reinvent the wheel every time, but we'll develop from that idea and try and make something that's better or more usable for us. But yeah, that's how we do it. And, you know, we'll listen to anyone. So that it's an open book really. But
what's the best product ever to make it? Are you allowed to answer that? I thought it were a nice touch on his question.
Yeah, it's a really good thing. There's been a few really that haven't made it, and they don't make it for different reasons. Some are just you just cannot make the product for a price that's going to be acceptable in our current market. You know, you can make anything if you've got the money, but it's who's going to buy it. I don't know. It's a really hard question. I probably couldn't pick a product that'd be good. There were some leaders that me and Steve were using from carp fishing that sit behind your method feeder and pin everything to the bottom, so they do a job, making the job easier for you. They were really special, but they needed to be sort of 10 or 15 quid each. You're just never going to sell any. So yes, me and Steve use them occasionally in the winter still because we're lucky enough to have the samples, but that's a product that you probably couldn't market. We had an amazing floating feeder that worked and sunk at different levels with different levels of bait, but you couldn't make the product consistent enough in production at our level and at our price to make it sort of marketable again. So it sits on the shelf, unfortunately, but there's loads. But yeah, you can go where you want with it. So carbon's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah,
carbon you could spend a fortune.
I think if people in the public could come and have a few days in Groove's product development, the head would completely come off. It's proper swan territory, isn't it? Like on the top, it seems all smooth, gliding along, but underneath, there's so many opinions, ideas, and you're pretty honest. If someone comes to you and it's not a great idea, you quite forward and tell them that. And I just have to be honest. Yeah, it's such a cool part of the business. Would you ever look to expand it or get more people involved in product development?
I think so. With me sort of going a bit more managerial level, that, you know, I'm head of product development as well, so I'm trying to juggle lots of jobs, and I feel like, yeah, I've been involved in it. I'm still very involved in it, and I love it. But I'm not top of the game in fishing anymore. So there's people that got the drive and ambition that I used to have, in the fishing, which could probably do a better job than me at that level now. So, yeah, you know, if there's any good people out there, I'd love them. I love them. Anyone with anything about them and ambition and drive, that's what meets our company's criteria. And yeah, I'd love more people to be involved. But you get another product developer, you need another CAD guy, then you need some more marketing team to promote them products. It's a massive balance as the company grows. But it's exciting, and it's a brilliant place to be because we're doing what we love, and we're basically scribbling drawings down on a bit of paper and developing stuff all the time. It keeps you active, keeps your brain going, and you boys drive me mad with all the silly little things. Well, we've just done 3 pole pots, but I think we need one just a little bit in between that pole pot with one more hole in it, you know. And I'm like, fucking hell, do you know what it takes to do this, you know?
Yeah.
But that's what it's the worst thing in the world, but it's the greatest thing. And that's, I think, why brands become successful. It's not just us, you know, there's lots of innovative brands out there and all pushing for the same thing. And it's a cool thing to be part of. And I think you boys love it from the other side of the fence as well, where you have an idea, especially you, Bennett, you've come up with quite a few good things now. And you see it as an idea and you like trimming holes in stuff and wrecking stuff. And then it turns into a product at the end of the day. It's like, I did that. That's cool. Do you know what I mean? It's wicked, isn't it? So, yeah. Good question.
Yeah, sometimes it can be too niche and it's not worth it. And
Yeah.
we're not going to. We'll sell 100 of them, Bennett. Yeah. No, we're not bringing that out. No. Good idea.
Could you take 1 mil off that float stem for us, please? And we'll redo it and we'll call it like a Roach Slim. Fuck off, Benny. But that's why he's so good. That's why he's so good. That inch makes a difference for him. Well, it makes a difference.
I tell you what, an inch does make a difference as well. Anyone's got any spare, send them my way. We've got our this is going to be the longest show ever, so I'm going to wrap it up for us. There's so much we could have touched on and talked about, loads going on in match fishing world, but I think it's been a great night, a good mix. Awesome to have Steve and Waco on last night, sat in the van from Belgium or Holland or wherever they were. Great to have you on, Bagger, to get you introduced. Obviously, we're going to mix up. Technical issues are going to happen on the way, and it's just going to be a part of it. But I think it's great, so we need to keep going. Again, folks, anyone's got anything they want to ask, any questions, any topics we want to touch on, please comment. If you've had your questions read out today, email info@tackleguru.co.uk to get your free beanie, name, address, and phone number so we can check it's you. And to wrap it up, boys, I want you both to pick me an angler on the theme of feeder fishing in Europe, where Steve is right now. Pick me an angler to capture 10 to 20 pound of roach and skimmers on a big natural venue like the one where the England feeder team are fishing this week. Who's your guy, Bennett?
I would have said Felix Schulerman, but I don't really know him personally, so I'm going to say Lee Kerry.
Best friend.
Lee Kerry. Mr.
Go on, Matt. Who are you picking, Matt?
I'm going to pick Waco, you know. I know he's been on the show, but he's got a right bit between his teeth. He's aggressive. He's doing loads of fishing. He's a fantastic angler, right on form at the minute. I think he's going to smash it up this week, Waco. I think he's going to do good. We're going to see quite a few 10 to 20 pounds tipped on the scales. If he does shit now, I'm going to look like a right twat, aren't I?
Yeah, I should have picked Lee.
Yeah, you'd already nicked him. Who are you picking, Room Dog?
Wow, there's only one more to pick, really, isn't there? And it's got to be Ringer, isn't it? Your money's safe with Ringer, isn't it?
Oh, God, that's so predictable and boring. End the show, Toby!
Oh, Ringer!
You're boring.
Lee!
Lee!